Tone is everything on the sax. You can have all the licks and patterns in the world. You can have memorized 26,000 jazz standards. You can be able to improvise through chord charts. But if the tone isn't right, it still won't be great to listen to. And tone is something that you absolutely can work on and develop and grow. And that's what we're going to focus on in this video. I'm going to give you everything that I know about tone and how to develop tone and how I've tried to develop my tone over the years and how I've helped other people develop their tone. I've created a PDF for you with everything that we're going to talk about written down so you can print this off and study it at your leisure. So all of these points, so you don't have to remember the whole video, and that is going to be in the link in the description below. This is going to be for alto and tenor saxophone. I'm going to give examples of tone on both instruments. I'm going to give you some exercises to work on and things to think about and strategies that hopefully are going to be really significant in improving your tone. Some of them could be instant changes and some of them are going to take a little bit more time to work on. So before we dive in, can I just ask you to do me one favor? If you like my teaching style and if you like this channel, then please do subscribe. It's completely free of charge and it really does support the channel. And if you do subscribe and comment and share as well, would be absolutely amazing. My commitment to you is that I'm going to make the best videos that I possibly can. I'm going to listen to your feedback and I'm going to try and help you for free as much as I possibly can and keep making great content. So please do subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. So let's have a look at this PDF, and it says on the PDF the saxophone is an organic instrument. So the thing about a piano is that a piano is mechanical. When you hit a key, the key is attached to a mechanism and that mechanism has a hammer on the end and it strikes the string in the same way every single time. So the sound is very predictable. Now if you're a concert pianist, you might say, yes, well I can get different sounds, but for most of us you won't be able to hear the difference between a concert pianist playing 3 notes on a piano and a complete novice playing the same 3 notes. You won't. But on the saxophone is not mechanical in that way. It's organic. The way that the sound is produced is organic. It's made out of wood and breath and spit and muscle. And all of those things are kind of inconsistent. So what we have to do is we have to work extra hard to get a consistent and beautiful tone. So the first thing that I would say is that use the right kit. So a mouthpiece alone is not going to solve your tone problems. On the other hand, if you've got a really basic saxophone that you got on Amazon for a couple of £100 or dollars, if you're still using the mouthpiece that came with that, the chances are that's not helping any at all. And at the minimum you should have something like a Yamaha 4C or something around that kind of standard. If you've got a no brand, non-generic, super basic mouthpiece, that is not going to help you at all. And dare I say, if you've bought a cheap metal mouthpiece or a copy mouthpiece off Amazon or Alibaba or one of those places, chances are it's not going to be helping your cause. It might do, but I doubt it in all honesty. So whatever mouthpiece you've got, have a look at it and see if it's in A, good condition, and if it's B, a good quality mouthpiece. Now, people do ask me a lot which mouthpieces I use. I use a Mayer 5 medium chamber on my alto saxophone, which is an ebonite mouthpiece, and that costs quite a lot of money. I think they're a couple of £100 at least. And I use an Otto Link 7-star Super Tone Master metal mouthpiece on my tenor saxophone, and that is equally expensive, well over £200 as far as I'm aware at the moment. But they're really worth it. The other thing that I would check is your reed. Make sure that you've got a good quality branded reed. Something like a Van Doren or a Rigotti or a Rico are all good brands. If you've bought reeds on the internet which are you know, £10 or $10 for 100 reeds, guess what? The quality is going to be poor and the sound is not going to be that great. So I recommend a branded reed. And also the relationship between your reed and your mouthpiece is really significant. If you've got a mouthpiece which has got a big tip opening, then the reed that you use with that is going to make a difference if you use a stiff reed or not such a stiff reed. Now, generally speaking, as a broad generalization, we start beginners on a 2 or a 1.5 or a 2 around that kind of strength. And I think that that's a good place to start. And if you up the strength of your reed to a 2.5 or maybe a 3, you'll get a bigger, fuller, richer sound, but that's not guaranteed. So it is such an individual thing. But if you're using a 2, I would recommend that you tried a 2.5 and then move between the 2 and come back down and see if that affects the sound in a positive way. Either way, it takes ages to get used to a mouthpiece. So if you've bought a mouthpiece like a Mayer, I would at least, when I recommend ones to my clients, they don't always get along with it at first because it's such a change and it can take about 2 months for them to really get into it. But once they're into it, it makes a really beautiful sound. So it says, avoid ultra basic mouthpieces, get the best mouthpiece you can afford and use a good reed, and make sure the reed is set up properly and no chips and dinks and all of that kind of stuff. Now, this is a really big one. This is number 2, point number 2, it's get your lip out. So generally speaking, when we start learning to play the saxophone, we have our lip in. Now I've got my other camera set up here, so we have our lip in like this. This is what they generally tell us to do, and which is not a bad instruction because it's a bit more straightforward and easy to grasp for a beginner. The problem with that is that you're using a very hard part and of your lip over your bottom teeth, and it's not giving the reed loads of support. So if I blow a G with my lip in, and just to show you what I'm doing to the other camera, I'm like this. Now I'm going to get my lip out, and what that means is I'm pushing my bottom lip out so that it's giving the reed a big sort of soft cushion to support. So it looks like this. And I'll just do a quick without lip in, lip out. Now you can, it's subtle, but there's a definite difference there. And I don't know how that's going to come out on the recording, but it's definitely there. Same with the tenor sax. If I do a G on the tenor sax with my lip in and with my lip out, just so that you can see that look. And you definitely get more volume if you get your lip out. So that would be something really to try. Now, it's not like you have to have your lip out all the time. It's not binary, but if you've got your lip in all the time, I would absolutely encourage you to get your lip out and understand that that's creating a big fat cushion underneath to support the reed so the reed can move about more easily. If the reed hits anything hard, like hard skin over teeth, it's just going to knock and you're going to get squeaky noises. So getting your lip out is going to give you, it says, the more room to vibrate, creating a bigger, warmer sound. Point number 3 is open your throat. So you know, just before you go to yawn, right? You haven't started yawning yet, but you know when you go to yawn, you know that feeling of your throat opening. Now, this can work a miracle. I was doing a workshop with a group of people and somebody was saying that they didn't really enjoy the tone that they made, and all I got them to do was just to move the mouthpiece slightly in or out of their mouth. I think I got them to take it out just a little bit more, which is another thing that you can experiment with, how far the mouthpiece is in or out, and then open their throat. And when they opened their throat, the difference was massive. And I think the reason is that your resonance, your airflow is more clear, it's not so pinched in your throat, and your resonance is just improved by opening up your throat. So just give it a try. And again, don't go binary on me. Don't think, well, I'm either opening my throat or I'm not, or but just try it. Just try it a little bit, and definitely with an open throat, you're going to get a different kind of sound, which I think will be an improved sound. Number 4 is practice long tones. Now, this is the advice that you're going to get everywhere. Long tones, long tones, long tones. But what does it actually mean, and why does it work? The reason why long tones helps your tone is because it's going to strengthen up the embouchure, the muscles in your face, and get them to calibrate how you're going to hold a note on the saxophone. But it's worth doing with a little bit more thought. It's not just holding a note. What you want to do is to hold a note and hold a really steady, unwavering note, and see if you can just hold it and hold it. So again, if I do that on a G, and even with that, can you hear those small bits of movement as the tone is shifting just in micro ways up and down? So what I'm working on, what I'm going to try and work on, do that again and see if I can get it dead straight. And I can still hear some movement up and down. So that's what we mean by long tones, just listening to the tone and try to make it as straight as you possibly can. Another really excellent exercise, which absolutely can be transformative for your tone, is an exercise that I call dynamics. And this involves taking it from the quietest point that you possibly can up to the loudest note that you possibly can, and then in a very controlled way, bringing it back to the quietest note that you possibly can. It's such a good exercise, and as I've said, if you practice this a few times a week, every week for a few months, you're going to notice a significant change. So let me demonstrate that for you. So I hope they might pick that up, but playing quietly is a really, really good skill to have. And personally, people have said to me that they like the tone that I make on the sax, which is obviously fantastic to hear. And I never really practiced long tones when I first started playing the saxophone, but what I did was, because I lived in an apartment where I had neighbours above me and neighbours below me who were not appreciative of my practicing ever, I had to practice really, really quietly. So I would practice like this. So I don't know how well you can pick that up on the mic, but I'm just blowing, just barely making a sound, and I practiced like that for years, and I suspect that it gave me quite a good, strong, controlled embouchure. So practicing long tones properly and understanding why you're practicing long tones and doing it consciously. Number 5, control the note shape, attack, sustain and decay. You can think about a note, again, this is just a way of thinking about it. You don't have to, it's not fact, it's just the way that I like to think about it. But control the note shape. So you've got each note has 3 parts. You've got the start of the note, or the attack. Then you've got the sustain section where you're holding it, and then there's the way that you let that note go. You either stop the note, or you go into another note, or how do you end the note? And each one of those phases would benefit from having some thought applied to it. So with the attack phase, a mark of a beginner is that they tend to scoop notes. So if I hit a G, and if I add that to a start of a tune, So you can hear that scooping phase as I come into the note. And what you want to really try and do is to get a nice clean start and not scoop. There's nothing inherently wrong with scooping, but if you're doing it without meaning to, then that can be a problem. Then the sustain section, which is the middle part of the note, well, we've talked about that already, haven't we? So you're aiming to hold the note as straight as you can, and then think about the way that you blend one note into another note, or how you end the note. So a nice way I like to end a note is with a little bit of vibrato, and this will absolutely give you a delicious sound. So again, if I use that same phrase, so that vibrato at the end just gives that level of professionalism. So think about the start, how you approach a note, how you sustain it, and how you let it go. Other ways to let a note go would be to just stop it. So if I just play a G, what you really don't want to do is just let the note sag at the end like this. It's just, you want to kind of avoid that. And I'm not suggesting that you do that, but I have heard beginners do that, and clearly it doesn't sound very nice. So number 6, develop an ideal sound in your head. Choose a saxophone sound that you love. So listen to people, emulate them. I was really influenced by Paul Desmond's sound on alto sax. I thought that was just the perfect sound, but I love also Grover Washington's sound and other musicians' sounds. But have a listen to a particular type of saxophone sound that you like and go for that. Mimic it. Change your embouchure. Open up your throat a little bit. Change your lip position. Experiment with the mouthpiece further in or out of your mouth to see if you can get a little bit closer to the kind of sound that you want. But definitely having a sound in your head or knowing what you're going for is going to help. So try to emulate them, and your sound is shaped by what you hear as well as what you do, physically. Number 7, prioritize tone, even in technical practice. This is a really, really good top tip. When practicing scales or exercises, always aim for beauty in your sound. So sometimes if I ask somebody, if they come round when somebody comes around for a lesson and I ask them to play a scale like D major on the alto sax, and they might do this, they might just go, because they're focusing on the notes. They want to get the notes right. They want to get the notes of D major right, and so they focus on the notes. But what I would do is what I want you to do is every single note that you play on the saxophone needs to be as beautiful as you possibly can, because you can't guarantee that if you don't focus on it, it won't be a beautiful note, because it's not a piano, it's not guaranteed. So when you play a scale, you still want to play it beautifully if you can. From this day onwards, I want to challenge you to make every single note that you play on the saxophone as beautiful as you possibly can. But what it says is, don't just rattle off notes, make each one count and sing, and play with intention. Practice dynamic range. Well, we've already done that. So start as quietly as possible, build up to the loudest sound, reduce it down to a whisper. That is a phenomenally powerful exercise. Number 9, use overtones to build control. This is another kind of classic exercise. Practicing overtones can really refine your embouchure and help your sound blossom. And what it says there is start by lowering a low B flat, and then getting the next harmonic. So actually, I'm going to hold a C. Now, without changing my fingers at all, then without changing my fingers at all again, I'm still holding low C. And one more time. Now, I can only get those 4. There are people on YouTube that can get the whole range, which is absolutely mind-boggling. It's so amazing to listen to, but that really takes such a high level of control. It's a very, very good exercise, and just again, to be crystal clear, you're not moving your fingers. Hold low C and then change your embouchure. You'll get the C above, then you'll get the G above that, and then you'll get the C above that. Number 10, decide to care about tone. It's a decision. You must actively listen to your own sound and want to develop it and record yourself on really good equipment, see what you sound like, and take it from there, and just you know, set out to make a great tone, and don't settle for less, right? You want to work on it all the time, and it is a never-ending job. Final thoughts: great sax tone doesn't arrive overnight, but with the right tools, awareness and daily practice, it can and will become your trademark. Decide to sound better every time you pick up the horn. It's a really, really good top tip. Please do subscribe to the channel. I really hope that something in here has helped, and if it has, would you mind putting something in the comments below and let me know what you think? And if you disagree with some of the things that I've said, that's fine as well. I'm not trying to say that what I'm saying is the only way. These are just things that I know through years and years of experience trying to develop my own sound and helping other people develop their sound. These things do work for people, so try them. Let me know what you think. Please do subscribe. Also, go to my website, saxmadesimple.com. There's loads of free content on there, and there's also some paid content. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.